I don't really remember anything, and no one can tell me what happened that night. There's no ambulance report, no 911 call, there's no camera footage. Doctors had to perform life-saving brain surgery. I was in a medically induced coma for 3 days.
We are about 10 minutes away from surgery.
I don't believe I just fell while skating, a route that I've done hundreds of times.
Just trying to trick my brain into remembering it.
Seeing the very exit, it gives me a lot of chills.
Down here is my little studio, I guess you could call it. Under here is my accident bin. I got the smells. This is my real skull in a biohazard bag. This is my real skull piece. The day was a normal start to the day. I was out shooting a YouTube video. Came back home around 7:30 and I told my mom, I was like, hey, I want Taco Bell. And she said, I want Mad Dog and Beans, which is a Mexican restaurant right around the corner from Taco Bell. So I was like, all right. I was extremely comfortable skating this route. You're just going across Manhattan and back, which I did regularly. Leave my apartment at around 8:45 p.m. Normally I wore a helmet.
All right, safety first.
But it's a beautiful day outside. I just didn't even think about it. I looked down and realized that I'm wearing boots. And I'm like, wait, I can't ride a skateboard in boots. So I turn around, run upstairs, change, go back downstairs, get on my board, and walk outside of the doors at 8:50 p.m. And that was the last I was seen until 9:13 p.m. being checked into the hospital as a John Doe. I had a subdural hematoma, an acute hemorrhage along the left side of my brain, as well as a complex temporal bone fracture. I don't really remember anything. We have no idea who found me, no idea how I got to the hospital even. There's no ambulance report, there's no 911 call, there's no camera footage from the hospital. I think I keep this stuff in the bin because it's definitely a way to help process the unknown of the accident. It's like, I don't know what happened, but I know where this is every single day.
You did great in your first surgery. And yes, Brandon, that is your skull in her lap.
What I needed was a hemicraniotomy, which means they removed the entire left side of my skull. You can probably see the scar. I was in a medically induced coma, IVs, catheters, everything. My mini version of my actual skull. What's crazy is inside here is actually what the inside of my skull looks like. You can see where my ear bones were broken. When I first woke up, I wanted so badly to be like, this is what happened.
Like the 2, 3, 4 of the place. I think that
my mom was sitting there like listening to me speak gibberish. I was like hit by a car. She ran and grabbed nurses and she was like, wait a second, he just said he was hit by a car. We need the police in here. Because at that point, everyone just assumed I just fell. I guess I remembered then. I guess I knew then, but I don't now. This is the helmet the hospital gave me to protect my skullless head and act as an external skull.
I'm doing it. Do your exercise.
I'm doing it, but...
So I leave my rehab today. Staples are off. Still swollen, but it'll go away in 3-4 weeks. And then I'll get my new skull. I want to wash it, but there's no instructions on how to wash your own skull. And I think if I did that, I'd be put on like an FBI watch list or something. Like probably not a really safe thing to search on Google. I've gone through 7 surgeries.
Here's my good side and here is my bad side.
Number 2 was a cranioplasty, which is where they put a new implant in.
hurts as well.
You look totally normal from this side. Brandon.
That surgery was really, really sketchy. This is my first implant, and this is my real life skull. I went and saw a plastic surgeon 16 months after the original cranioplasty, and he was like, you have a hole in the back of your head about the size of a golf ball. If I put them together, you can see that there is a hole missing. I don't know who decided like, oh yeah, this is good to go in someone's head. There was just skin over it, protecting my brain, which means like someone could have like playfully flicked me and like killed me, which is scary. They took the first implant out and they got a new one made, designed by engineers, like down to like the micron. It's very, very accurate. I just got hit with a giant wave of nausea, and now I just don't feel good at all. I jumped out of bed one morning, walked into the bathroom, collapsed, hit my head, got a pretty severe concussion on top of my already injured brain. It was like we took 100 steps back. It's actually when I met Julia. Julia and I have been together for just over 2 years now.
I met him very much into his recovery. Still surgery on top of surgery he was having. Supporting Brandon through everything has been a challenge. To watch him recover and then the recovery failing and then him having to go for more surgery. I felt like there was nothing that I could personally do. Couldn't make the pain go away, couldn't make the memory of everything go away.
I was thinking later today we can go to Manhattan and rethink the route that I took on the night of my accident.
Okay.
Maybe I have like a that's so Raven moment and just like and then figure out what happened. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I am.
Going back to that time in his life definitely can get him a little bit emotional. I'm just more so worried for how he's gonna feel about going back there.
Right now we're at my old apartment where I left the night of my accident and ended up at the hospital 23 minutes later. Over here is where the camera footage sees me come out. And I ride out here and then I go down. Where I ended up going, I don't know. I think that's the mystery of it all. My mom thinks like, oh, maybe you went a different route. And I'm like, I don't think I did. But I don't know, maybe there was some sort of like detour I took. I would ride down here and then I would cut over on here. This is the West Side Highway bike lane. Watch yourself. Watch. People would just fly down here. I must have gone this way. The thing is, like, where am I gonna go? If I go that way, I go all the way around to Mad Dog and Beans. It's just not an efficient route to get there. And you know me, I'm all about efficiency. Taco Bell's right here, the hospital's right here. You can see them from each other, which means it would have had to have happened in that area. I have a lot of OCD. I'm very OCD. In terms of like, I'm such a perfectionist that it's like almost inconvenient. Try until you achieve, you know? Failure isn't an option. That wasn't prevalent before the accident. Although I did have really bad ADHD before the accident. I actually modified a Wii U power cable. To be able to take something that is in your brain and make it like a real thing is probably one of the coolest experiences in the world. Since November of 2019, I've been documenting the entire accident. Like everything was done on TikTok. I don't have a skull, love that. Whoa. Where is my skull? The downside of that is though, is like everyone now knows me as like the brain injury kid. I don't want to be known for my accident anymore. The accident was like the catalyst for me doing all this stuff. This is my workshop where I film my YouTube videos and build crazy things like this. I want to be known as the success story, the kid who recovered from a traumatic brain injury and then went on to build a multi-million subscriber YouTube channel. This is my happy place. I haven't gotten to that part yet. Trying though. Right now we're near the corner of Church Street, and I think this is the last area where I kind of remember this street was closed. So I had to go all the way down and come all the way around and then back, and then I would have gone up there. Most people in a similar situation to me have some idea of what happened, like the night their life changed forever, and I just don't. My theory is that I was hit by some sort of delivery truck or ice cream truck or something like that. I didn't just fall, I've ridden that route hundreds of times. I could make myself insane trying to figure out what happened, or take the things that I do know that I love making things and designing things. Had it never happened, I wouldn't be where I am right now, and I love where I am right now. Let's focus on the things I know.
I don't know if I would have fallen in love with the old version of Brandon. I'm really grateful that I got to meet this version of him that's so full of life and full of energy. I don't think I would have got that version had he not almost lost his life. Call it fate, call it whatever you want to call it. I think everything happens for a reason, that's for sure. That's the hardest part of it all, is like having to sit down with yourself and be like, listen, you f***ed up by not wearing a helmet, and now you have to face the consequences.